My name is Nicholas Hecko and I'm a third generation master watchmaker. I'm standing in front of a new Patek boutique, just opened last night. And in 3 minutes from now, the doors will open. Would they let me in? I have no idea. Would they have a watch that I want? Not sure. Would I be able to afford it? Who knows? Is there a waiting list for Patek? We'll find out if they let me in. One thing is certain, right now I'm very, very nervous and intimidated.
And they didn't let us in. Well, not their fault.
Yeah, we were maybe under the wrong assumptions based on last night, what you saw.
Yep.
You know, all the cameras, there was people there. You think, okay,
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
someone said tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, 10:30 sharp, the doors will open, and yeah, you can have any Patek in the world.
Wow, okay, so obviously we wanted to go down there, be the first customers. Fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted to be a first customer of a brand new Patek boutique
Yeah,
in
that's
Sydney.
cool.
I had my credit card in the pocket,
Yep.
and I just I had a short list of watches I would, I'd kind of be excited to add to my little junk box collection.
Yep, nice.
But it didn't happen. We arrived too soon. However, what was real was my fear. From about 5 o'clock last night till 10:35 this morning,
Yep.
I was extremely nervous. And it was genuine fear. The question is why I, as third generation master watchmaker, was so under so much anxiety about walking into Patek boutique.
It is a little strange. Like at surface value, it is a little strange. Even I was a bit nervous, but it kind of makes more sense for me because I can't afford Patek.
You can afford the ladies 24/7.
Yeah, maybe. When I walk in there, it's like, oh, if I touch something, I might break it. I can't afford it, right? Fine. You can afford a Patek. You understand what's inside. You have that level of sophistication where you know their history. You already received their magazine. You're essentially already a Patek guy because you've owned them in the past.
But am I? Am I a Patek
Well,
guy?
I think maybe that's why you feel weird.
I know. I feel like I'm not. Like, number one, I can tell you why I feel I'm not a Patek guy. I don't talk that Patek language of numbers, referring to a particular watch. Grand chime, quarter repeater. That's how Calatrava. But I don't know the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know what 611.
You don't
6R
know what's
means.
the Tiffany blue Nautilus reference? You have
No, I
idea,
don't know
yeah.
references. And
okay.
I think you expected, at least from what I see on YouTube, if you're talking Patek, you have to have this secret handshake understanding.
Well, look, why? I mean, even I felt a little bit uneasy, but it makes sense for me because, I'm not a Patek guy. I don't get their magazine. I don't speak the language. I can't afford anything in the shop, right? You can. You're exactly the sort of archetype that is the Patek customer. You're old, a bit more mature.
I don't think so. I'm an ideal Patek customer. Just because, I'm short and wear glasses and I'm 60 something, I don't think that's what they're looking for.
They sell the, tradition of passing down the watch to the next generation.
Yeah.
I don't look like I have a next generation yet. Or maybe I do. I'm talking myself up. You definitely do. You have at least kids. Maybe they have kids. They can kind of see that. You're already sort of their customer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they would knock me back. Of course not. But out of the two of us, they think, okay, if you had to choose, it's going to be you that's the customer.
But again, I don't dress like business person, or I don't dress like someone who is loaded with cash. I'm not, but I don't even dress like that.
You can say that, and this brings this to mind. I can't remember whose article this was, but when the Grandmaster Chime, which was the most complicated watch at the time, I think until Vacheron beat it later, was made and sold, it was sold for some ridiculous amount of money, millions and millions of dollars, and the person who bought it was a Korean, maybe K-pop star, something like this, hoodie, track pants, he's probably wearing Crocs. He was in a club the next night with that watch.
Wow.
Partying, loud music, alcohol everywhere. So I don't think that's a good enough reason for you to feel anxious. I think it's something else.
I think they can sense that if I do get what I want,
Yeah.
a Patek that I want, I would just chuck it in a junk box and it will sit in a junk box.
Yeah, maybe they know about it.
How we didn't get in. We didn't get in. However, we got more than what we were bargaining for.
Yeah, for sure.
Because in front of a boutique, we met a boutique employee, a lovely person.
Yep.
And we had a very, very open chat.
Yeah. Obviously
Okay.
not recorded, and we can't mention any names or details.
But we learned so much.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
Yeah.
Like,
there were a
was a-
few things where I was like, well, I can't really answer that. We go,
Yeah.
okay, fine. That was maybe a bit too probing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with the training.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the procedure? Once you get a job, what's the next step?
So, well, I think all the Pateks that are sold, they're sold by Patek specialists. You really have to know what you're talking about. They're not just going to take some random person who's been a salesperson for 6 months. This is like a very, very particular role, and they don't have a massive range.
No.
So you really have to intimately know everything. There's a 4-step process, and it ends, or it sort of climaxes, I suppose. You go to Switzerland and you do your final training at Patek in Switzerland. Which is crazy. So you're probably handling some watches, really seeing how they work, understanding them, because you have to add that level of sophisticated knowledge to that customer, in that buying process. So
You have to add
Yeah.
additional value by
Yeah.
being, a specialist.
it isn't just like, oh, you want a Batman, cool, here it is. You already know everything
No.
about it, fantastic. You can't have it. This is like you have to really understand everything about that watch.
And they don't serve champagne.
Yeah.
So if
yeah, maybe not to us.
If you no, if you expect champagne, don't.
Okay, fair enough.
The other thing that impressed me, in a way, is that $600,000 Patek sale that he mentioned is kind of top. Above that, it goes through Geneva Patek approval process.
Yeah, which kind of
Makes sense.
It makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
These are very bespoke pieces.
Yeah.
They're incredibly sought after.
So if you walk in and you want that $1 million grand
Sa-
sonnery,
salmon dial, something like.
don't expect that. There is, and that is a thing. So I asked him, "Am I a right customer to Patek?" And he said, "Yeah, of course." But I said, "So what's the story? So I can just walk in and buy what I want?" And then he said, very politely, "There is a process where you need to be kind of approved."
Yeah,
I think he used the word approved,
it's.
but it's more kind of whether my personality, whether me as a person match
Yeah.
the Patek customer expectation.
I think so. Yeah.
Nothing to do with the local age.
Yeah, it's not just about is this guy going to flip the watch. I mean, there's that element to it as
Yeah.
well. But you really have to, they're not selling watches to be flipped. They're selling watches to be kept, and that's very evident from their marketing. So they want to know that you have some level of a collection, maybe, or you respect watches in that way enough to appreciate the watch and keep it.
But
That's what they want you to do. They want you to keep it.
But he specifically used the word family. I remember that. So becoming a part of the family in a way.
Yeah.
Right. So relationship. There is definitely that element of relationship building.
It's difficult because
Not in a negative
we
way.
we do talk about that negatively sometimes. When it comes to your multi-brand boutiques, you have to buy the Tudor Newman before you get the Daytona
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. So we do talk about it negatively in that way. But when it comes to this kind of brand, and there is no mistaking, Patek is essentially the king of watchmaking. They don't make many watches.
No.
So how do they decide who gets them? You could do a first come, first served basis, but then
Yeah, he was clear about that as well. He did say that, that is one of the reasons, not enough stock.
Yeah.
Not enough stock in the sense that the stock is kept for somewhere in a safe. It's more like there is not enough stock for people who really want it. So it's more like, okay, you want a blue dial, whatever, and I want white porcelain dial.
Yeah.
They just want to make sure that you get what you want and I get what I want.
Yeah, for
rather
sure.
than, neither of us gets what we want.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
I can imagine it's very difficult for them to decide these things, but at the end of the day, you have to assume that those watches are going to the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, I was a little bit disappointed when he said, I said, okay, so when I come next time, would I be able to get something in print, like a booklet or catalog or something? Like, I'm already receiving Patek magazines. I don't want a Patek magazine. But he said, no, everything is now downloadable online. I think that's a mistake.
I think that's a mistake for Patek, Vacheron, Audemars Piguet, Lange. That's a mistake for those brands specifically. They should be continuing, if they want to have those heritage type watches with that heritage architecture, heritage respect for watchmaking, they really should be printing stuff.
Gemma, can you get me the JLC book, any annual book?
Oh, JLC as well, for sure.
Yeah, because that's what watch collecting is all about. I think watch collecting starts with a printed book. You take that book home, and you flick the pages, and this is how your excitement grows. I don't get excited by looking something. Yeah, look at this. That's what I'm talking about. Look at this.
Yeah, beautiful photos. I think out of all the different, collector sort of groups out there, and cars is always very close to watches, those sort of automotive producers have it right in that they just make so many other things that are branded with them, and you can get them and you see those people's garages that are just, they've got the Mustang and they've got Ford everything, and there's a Ford chair and this, and they can get all these things. And then you have Patek that don't even print a book like this.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
If I don't know if JLC is doing it nowadays still, but...
Maybe we should ask them.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Right, so there you go, friends. New boutique in Sydney. How many boutiques, Patek boutiques, are enough for a city like Sydney?
I mean...
3, 4?
Sydney's kind of the Ginza of the south these days. We do have... Or that street in Geneva where there's all, Rolex and Patek, and there's all those buildings next to each other. That's really King Street at the moment. There's, Patek right next to Cartier, JLC, Hublot, and then, Piaget and Chopard and, all these other brands. Fantastic. But then the multi-brand boutiques kind of sell them as well. Like, how does that work? What's going to happen with them?
I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah, okay.
What I have noticed, and that's
Grand Seiko. Didn't mention Grand Seiko. They're around the corner.
I did mention that I'm a third generation master watchmaker, and that was just ignored completely.
I was wearing my loop actually when we went down there, just to kind of seal the deal. And
there was zero attempt to connect on that level.
Yeah, okay.
It's like we're selling, I don't know, popcorns or something.
Yeah.
Like we're in a,
selling iced Eskimos. Yeah.
That's a little bit disappointing. I think I didn't expect any special treatment or recognition or any conversation about what we do, but
we got a better. We definitely got a better response from Lange.
Oh, Lange loves us.
In that regard, that's for sure. We got a better response from Lange.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would expect something like just a passing line about watchmaking in general, rather than specific. But makes me wonder: is Patek really about watchmaking?
Yes.
I guess it is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You tell us maybe what you think. That's the first time I've really ever been to a Patek boutique.
In front of Patek
boutique.
boutique.
True. I've been to the front of a Patek boutique, yeah.
Look, I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I feel really that this is now behind us.
Okay.
So if we to go again, when we will, once the boutique opens properly, I think I will be less nervous.
Well, we didn't really...
Will be less
Yeah, we still didn't get to the bottom of why you were nervous. Because it is an interesting thing to feel for someone who really has nothing to be nervous about. We're not competing with them.
No.
Like on any level. We're not selling the same watches. We're not selling their watches.
But again, if you're not, maybe nervous is not the right word, but if you're not respectful and sophisticated and keen to become part of a family, you shouldn't really go there.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's like an excited, it's like an anxious excitement.
If you to have a knee surgery, certainly you don't want to watch videos on YouTube. I wouldn't. but you should have a little bit of feeling. And if you have to have a wallet surgery, then you might as well be a little bit nervous of what's going on.
Yeah.
The cheapest Patek ladies, 25,000.
Okay.
Gents cheapest Calatrava, 56,000 something.
56.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like a precious metal, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
There
So
you go.
make sure you have a kind of a no limit on a credit card if you to go there. Right. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we're not YouTubers. This is just authentic experience that this morning in our town, our neighborhood,
Yeah.
Horologerie.
I mean, we're lucky enough. It's literally 50 meters away.
Yeah.
So we just walk down there. It's great.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, and do subscribe to our newsletter. Sorry. Thanks for tuning in, and do subscribe to our channel. The Slimline Turtle sold out, done
Wow.
and dusted at $999. We might be able to get a couple more, but it wouldn't be that price anymore. So please don't call about Slimline Turtle for $999.
Yep.
Good news.
We didn't get. We're not going to do another Greek restaurant for Aaron because we didn't get much out of him the first time. So.
Yeah. Good news. There is a new channel watch coming.
Okay.
In just 3 weeks from now.
Wow.
This one I didn't want to take chance with you. I picked myself.
Okay. Fair enough.
And you will love it.
Cool. Very good.
All right. See you soon. This was Horologerie Raw and Uncut.